I'm gonna start this one out with reading a little quote. Nothing does as much for an individual's self-esteem as becoming aware of and accepting disowned parts of the self. The first steps of healing and growth are awareness and acceptance, consciousness and integration. That is from the book The Six Pillars of Self-Esteem. That is on the chapter of self-acceptance and vulnerability. That is going to be the theme of this stream. Oh, that rhymed. My name is Alexander Nilsson. I run this channel. Of course I do. That's why I'm here. I have this cup of tea because this is also known as Tea Time with Alex, the Friday Fear live show, where I share reflections and learnings from the week's fears that has been met, because I'm all about daily fear facing. Small, big things, I don't care, but shit needs to go down every day, because then I identify myself as the kind of person that does the hard thing, that faces fears and just, I do it, even if I'm not in the mood for it. That's why it's also okay with doing small things, because then at least I don't quit on myself. Today, right now, in this stream, I will be sharing the unwrapping of the story of Alex being a burnout case. No, that's not true. I don't know. Last week's stream did also contain this topic, the topic of me maybe having hit a little bit of a wall, or at least having signs of being work exhausted. At least that's what the doc told me last week when I went to see him. To give you some context, and I don't want to be too repetitive on last week's stream, this stream will mainly contain 3 little stories throughout the week, where first I went to see a shrink, fear-facing action. Then I went back to work after 2 weeks of almost fear-facing action, dealing with telling people what I've been up to. And number 3, a social company gathering event, which was a fear-facing thing for me, because when you're isolated and you just get socially fucked up after a while, and that happened, at least that was I feared. Those 3 things is the stories I will share my learnings and reflections upon, and again the themes will be self-acceptance and vulnerability. 2 key things in order to build solid self-esteem. That is the deal. And I just need to check that the stream is green. I see the green light is on here, and yeah, it seems to be working. So, first off, some really quick context. 3 weeks ago, I became sick after only 2 weeks of working after my vacation time, but you have to know that it's a very intense life I live and have been living for the last 10 years since I moved here to Stockholm. I work a full-time work as an engineer, but I also, throughout the summer, started up a little company, production and marketing company. I also study part-time I study movie science, and then there's this YouTube channel. And of course, I work out for at least 1 hour a week, 1 hour a day. That's like the setup of my life, and it's, I mean, morning till evening, basically 7 days a week. I have some kind of work project I work on. That, I guess, is the reason that drove me to mess my body up, because at least that's what the doctor tells me, and I'm in the state of accepting that this is the case, that maybe Alex need to chill the fuck up, chill out. curse. Sorry. And so last week he told me, after having been sick for 1.5 weeks, that look at the facts you're presenting here, Alex. You've been sick recently. A couple of 2 months ago, I was also sick for 1.5 weeks with the same symptoms, and he told me that I needed to chill out, and he sent me to a counselor, a shrink, for an orienting conversation. A whole lot of bunny ears here, to basically figure out how to solve my life puzzle with a professional person, having someone to reflect upon this little life I'm living, which was kind of scary because I always wanted to go to a shrink and like just open up and talk, I guess like the way I'm doing here, but way more intense or intimate and just full on transparency. So that was what happened last Monday, and it was so nice. It was so, just open up things you carry around and just share all the things you carry. It's a lot of things. And just say, hey man, uslivewe is with us. Did you get the chance to see the email I sent you? Yeah, I replied. Haven't you seen it? If you sent it yesterday, I haven't checked my email, so maybe I've missed it. Anyways, let's get back to the story. So just sharing my life to a shrink, and her giving her take. She laughed at me when I told. She like sadly laughed at me about how I was living and that it wasn't sustainable. But the thing is, it's so fun, so it's hard. That's again where this whole self-acceptance came in, and dealing with changing your life. It's hard. uslivewe, I'm just about to. I've been working. The biggest difference now when I'm back, I've been working for 2 days. Yesterday I worked and today I worked. It's like I've reached a cap. I can work for like 6-7 hours. Then it's just my body starts to shut down. And that is what's happening. Something is messing me up, and this is what has been so hard to accept, because for all this time now, looking back, since this started 3 weeks ago, I've been convinced that it's been like a virus. I've gotten the flu that has drained me of energy, and that has given me all these headaches. But when I went to the doctors and he had a look at me and he said that my heart and my body was all in good nick, he took blood samples, which I also got the answers from this Monday, and they were like all fine and dandy. It's like my body is in very good shape. I mean, I have a what do you say, heart variability. The rest pulse my rest pulse is around 42 as an average, and sometimes I go down to 38, which is really, really low. uslivewe, thanks for coming here and supporting. It's fine that you have to leave. I'm thankful for your support, really am. But the thing is, this is actually what I will come to, that the process I'm going through, the process of talking to this shrink, the process of coming back to work, because I was home for almost 2 weeks. I went to the office last week one time, but it ended up badly because I had to go home and I had killing headaches and it was like my body was crushed. So I was so scared going back to work again this this when Thursday. It was like it was really scary because now I'm seriously considering, have I fucked up my body like permanently? Am I not able to live on the level I want to, like always doing things, which is super fun. I mean, this is I don't feel the stress. It's fun, or is it? It's hard to tell, because when we get into the loop, when we are so much into the doing all the time, it may start out as being fun, but one of the real tell signs to know when you are progressing over to being in a more like overworked state is that you actually lose the fun part of it. And I actually have to accept that towards the last period, the fun part a little bit was extracted out of the process of doing things. Like even when the movie making and all that, since it was such a tight schedule with everything I needed to get done with, it actually took some of the fun part away. And that was super hard for me to accept. Something was happening, and that made me so scared to go back to work and see for real, like how will my body react? Because the doctor told me that I was fine. I started out the week with pushing myself a little bit progressively on the gym, and on Wednesday actually I ran for 11 kilometers and I felt like so goddamn strong. It's like, man, at that moment, Wednesday, I felt like I'm back in business. This whole thing with me being maybe a little tiny bit burnt out, that was just a flu, and now it's over. I was saying that to myself this Wednesday, because I mean I ran 11 kilometers and I was able to put a new time record, like all-time record in, and it just energized the crap out of me. So great. That was how I felt. So going back to work and then feeling how I started to dip again. When I was back there now yesterday, my body was starting to feel not so good again as the day progressed. And the same thing happened today. Started out alright, but then towards the end of the day, something is off. My body is telling me that you're not alright. You need to chill out. So I'm in the process of accepting that this isn't only a bad virus. I have exhausted my body to the degree that I need to really, really change things and perhaps have a period now where I chill out. And that's so hard. So hard. I mean, my identity is to do things. This was the topic of last week's stream, so I'm not gonna go in there too deeply, but it's hard. I'm taking away a part of myself. I have to change myself, but it's also fun. I'm starting to see this more and more as a fun project. This is good for me. I'm so glad that this happened to me now and not in a year when I had continued to live like this even further and like ignored. Maybe it wouldn't have been such a bad fall. Maybe if I hadn't, this wouldn't have happened to me. Maybe I would have fucked myself up even more. So I'm super glad that this happened, but it's also really scary, and I am gonna see a therapist now on a regular basis to see how we can work this out together. but it is scary. It is scary. And I just want to say that it is also okay. I'm not ashamed of it, though I was a little bit ashamed when I got into work. That was one of the other fear-facing moments. Like, for one, when I was going back there, how would my body react? That was scary as shit. That all actually made me stall the process of going back to work because I was scared of how I would react. And I didn't react well, and well, I adapted. It's alright. I will fix that. But the bigger fear, I'd say, was to face all the people that I was working with. What was I gonna tell them, because I hadn't been at work for like 2 weeks? Am I gonna say that, yeah, I had a bad cold? Or do you tell the people, like my friends, they are my colleagues and friends, am I supposed to go around and tell people that I'm a burnout case? Like, that whole thing, all those meetings, that scared me. But that's where the vulnerability theme comes in. Vulnerability is like one of the key things in order to develop a solid self-esteem. To be honest, because if you're not honest with people, you're not honest with yourself, and that's just detrimental. It creates this inner turmoil that you can't get inner peace if you're not honest. At least when it comes to like these, I'm not saying you have to tell every person you know all your little life secrets, but things that you feel is important to share. And I felt that I wanted to share this with the people I care about because they care about me. So it ended up like telling a lot of people when they asked what has happened and such, and like just give the quick story of it. And I do it in a not in a sad pity me way. It's just like I'm honest about it, and I feel hunger about the change and how it's gonna turn out for the great. But it was scary. But for every time I told the story, it got easier, and I got great support, and just like it makes the process, the journey I'm gonna go through, even easier. It's just, people care, and when you feel that people care about you, you feel like you're a part of something. You feel connected, and that's just something that we need. I think it helps the healing process ton. But that was at the work I turn up to as an engineer, but I'm there as a consultant, and we have a consultant firm, and we actually had a big company get together after work thingy last evening, and I had challenged myself to go there just as a fear-facing social challenge, because as I started out with saying in this video, when you've been sick for so long and you sit isolated and you don't talk to people, you get away from that whole social connection, and it was something I needed to do. So I challenged myself to go there. It wasn't mandatory in any way, but I challenged myself because it's a lot of people there that is really I like. They're close by heart, and I just wanted to meet these people again, even though it was a push. But I went there, and I felt so. I didn't want to be there. The moment I walked in, I was like, no, I don't want to be here. But I persisted. I talked to people I wanted to talk to. I interacted. I ate food, and I had a really good time. And the thing is, I connected. I had so many deep conversations here because this was in the work context. We had time to talk and get into real honest conversations, and I got the chance to be vulnerable for real, like almost like in the shrink setting, but with friends that really care about me. In particular, there was three very nice, good friends that actually shared their experience, and all these three persons had been through a burnout scenario, like for real, like worse than this is just a pre-state. I can still fix this. But they had really hit the wall, and they shared their experience, and they gave me some good tips, and just like, it's so common. I mean, 3 people in my working surroundings had hit the wall and made it through, but it changed them and they learned a whole lot. But being able to have that conversation with them was so, just meant a lot. And that is also why I decided to sit here and share this again this week. I mean, I started out last week with the stream, and I feel that it's alright if you feel that you are there, and maybe you're not there. Maybe you're just in the pre-state. I mean, I've been living for this in like this for so long now. So of course I knew that it may happen, that it's like a possible scenario that I am pushing myself too hard, but wasn't accepting it. I wasn't like fully taking it in as a scenario, because I was just so much things I want to do. But that's why, again, I bring this up as awareness things for you, if you feel that you are the kind of person that perhaps push yourself a bit too hard. It is so easy to do that if you are driven person that thinks life is fun and you just want to grow. I mean, it's addictive. It's an addictive process. I love it. And just working, and I love it. I freaking love it. I love it. I actually just wanted to share these things, and I'm not gonna progress. I'm not gonna nag this one out. This channel is not gonna be about me being burnt out. I'm not burnt out. I'm just a little bit weak right now, and I'm learning. And the biggest learning this week is actually that I can put in a lot of quick fixes that helps me to cope with the working environment better. Because as I said, I started to really dip down after a few hours. But the workouts, exercising, as I said, when I went to the gym, I felt great. I felt so great. Yesterday, this was the case. When I work, sorry, I've had a long day and I am a bit exhausted. Maybe this is too much for me. See, limiting beliefs, or am I? Can I do what can I do and what can't I do? I'm confused. When am I pushing myself too hard and when am I not? I don't know. Yesterday I had been working for 7 hours at the office, and I was about to hit to the after work thingy. I had a meeting there too. But as I said, I was freezing, I had a headache, and my body wasn't feeling good at all. So I decided to leave a bit early and take a sunny side, a walk in the sun for a half an hour to the other office. And I just got re-energized. I got resetted. And I felt like recharged with new energy again. The same thing happened this morning. I woke up and I felt like in the bad way, my body didn't want to do that. So I started out the morning with an amazing run. It was such an intense run, although it did make me limp because my knee got hurt, but it was worth it. So I turned up to work and like all this energy, I felt again like I'm back, I'm not sick. That was just a flu. I told that to myself again this morning. Even though the yesterday's experience told me otherwise, today after the workout I felt so great. Even like the interaction with people, no signs of headache or anything. All fine and dandy. A few hours later, I felt started to go down again, so I went down to the gym we have a gym at work. I went down to the gym for a chest session. Felt great again, like re-energized. Got back to work for a couple of hours, then I felt my body started to dip again. And that's when I decided to call it the day and go for a walk home, and that got me to a better place again as I'm sitting here and doing the stream. Although I can feel the energy is running low. So big learning of the week is how much the exercise is doing for me. I always known that it's great for me. I think that's one of the key things that has made me push on as hard as I have to for all these years. Daily exercising, it just resets the system. It's amazing. But also, or not also, in addition to that, if you have a hard time with the exercise and workouts, or just you're perhaps not pushing yourself as hard as you would like to, you have to read the book Can't Hurt Me by Dave Goggins. Oh man, it's like top 5 books I've read. I'm not all there yet. I think I'm gonna do a video on his top 10 learnings, or like process steps for how to, I guess it's life lessons. It's such a great book, and above all, it's so incredibly, amazingly inspiring when it comes to working out. I mean, it's just, really have to put boundaries on myself to not push myself too hard. It's just you're capable of doing whatever when you read this book, because this dude has pushed himself beyond what I ever thought was possible. And hearing that and listening to his stories, it just makes it clear how it's all a mind game. It's all limitations up here. And he actually has made me enjoy the pain. As I said, I hurt my knee this morning, but I can't help to I love the pain. It's a sign that I put in an effort. I mean, it's fucked up, but it's nice. It's nice. That will be the final touch on this little live stream. Before I let you go, I have to tell you that I only wore this hat today because, or not only, but I put it on because, I thought that would be a fun thing to have for the stream. No, I thought that I like this hat. That's why I want to wear this for the stream, and it also makes it pop out a little bit. However, as I turned on the camera and I saw myself, I started to think, that looks ridiculous. You can't do that. Then I thought again, of course I can. I don't care about what other people think of me. If I want to do it, I'm gonna do it. So then I just had to do it as a proof of concept of who I am as a person. The person that don't let other people's opinions impact my choices, my actions. I live by my values and beliefs and what I think is right. When I say something, I do it. That's integrity. And all these things can be read in the great book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, which I'm actually going to reread this week, I think, because it's just such a great book. My name is Alexander Nilsson. I thank you for watching. I thank you for being you and just being open to change and growth and all that comes with it. My name is Alex. I said that. If you think that you are losing it, then you will find out that your memory is messed up. My memory is really messed up. I forget my phone everywhere. That's it. Sorry for being confusing. My name is Alexander Nilsson. Thank you for watching. Thank you.